Hello everybody, my name is Alan, I'm from Sauber-Lab and today will be another video about Proxmox. The truth that this video will be number 4 of Proxmox. So in this video we're gonna show how you can create a VM template or how you can clone your machine, virtual machine. In this way we can show a little bit difference between both, and that's you decide which one that's better and fit for your needs. But before you start to watch this video, I suggest you to watch the previous video where I show how you can install the Proxmox, how you can update and keep the same configuration, the same stage that we are at the moment, and also how to create your virtual machine. Otherwise, you not be able to do anything in this video. So, if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're gonna show exactly this video, but first of all, don't forget to leave your like, consider to subscribe for this channel, and let's see how we can do it. Before we start to just show the difference between a clone and a template, let's start with the beginning. Here it's my computer, my Proxmox connection. This Proxmox is not connect or is not running in a virtual machine, they're running a physical machine, otherwise it will not work well. And here I have my node, the same one that we configured in the last video. And here I have 8 GB of RAM memory and only 32 GB of hard drive used. I have more space. Also, I have 4 cores available for my system. From those, if I come here my ZFS, I have only one image, and here I have around 482 GB of total. This ZFS is configured with 2 hard drives. Those hard drives work as a mirror, exactly to protection. If one hard drive fails, the other one potentially will work without any problem. This image is 101, exactly the same from the Ubuntu image that we configured last time. So now I can come in my virtual machine. This virtual machine that I create have only one core, 2 GB of RAM memory and 32 GB of hard drive. If I come here in my hard drive, I have the same that I told, 2 GB of RAM, BIOS, I have my OS and everything. So now I can create a clone for it. If I come here with the right click, I can clone it. If I put clone, I can define some information. Suppose that I will want a ZFS. I want to have a clone. The ID of this virtual machine will be 300, supposedly, because it will be a clone. And that I put Ubuntu 2. So I can come here and put create. What they will do, they will take some seconds until appear this 300. And here they start to clone it. What you need to be aware. This clone will take some time to create, and this clone is exactly a clone as the name tells. It's exactly the same system that I'm running in this Ubuntu. What's the problem for it? Because it's exactly the same system that I'm running, I should not use the both together because of some informations. First of all, your machine ID will be exactly the same. You will not reset it, or if you need to reset, you need to reset manually. Second thing, your SSL key will be exactly the same, and there, if you're running both machines and try to open it as a web client, they will have a problem because they will look and say, same ID, same SSL, something's wrong. So it's better you don't run it, but yes, you can do it without any problem. And this clone, after they finish it, they are creating the second volumes for the VM. And once this one closes, yes, we can open it and run it normal. So let's wait. This virtual machine has been opened and that we can look a little bit more on it. After this machine has been cloned, I already have the name Ubuntu created. And if I come here in hardware, it will be exactly the same hardware as the others. So now I can come here and put start. For then I can start this virtual machine. If I put console, I can have a look at what is going on. They will start this machine as normally, but all the information is exactly the same as the previous machine. You have 2 options. First one, you can create one virtual machine, and that this virtual machine will be, you clean your machine ID, you clean your SSH keys, and you do your pre-configuration. You don't use this virtual machine at all, you only clone it. What the risk? Sometimes you can forget that it's not only to use it, and that you can open, and that all the configuration will return from what you expect, and that you don't have what you should have. You have 2 or 3 machines with the same IPs or same ID machines. So the best way, you create a template. I will do this first step. I suggest you do these steps either that you're gonna have only a clone, and that clone you not open at all and only clone it, or if you're gonna use as a template. Remember, this configuration is only valid for Linux. If you try to use a Windows or other system, you don't need to restart it because you only work for Linux. So let's start. First thing, we need to discover the IP address for this machine. To do it, will be login. Our system will be Sauber-Lab, and our password test123. And now I know that IP address for this machine is 192.168.1.135. Let's open put access it, and that I can increase the size of the letter and that you guys can see it better. So let's do it now. So wonderful, I just looking with my putty. Now everyone can see it quite well. First thing, we're gonna look for the ID for my machine. To do it, it's a simple step. We can run cat, etc. machine ID, and I can run it. So I know that my machine ID is this one. Let's copy this machine ID and put it aside because I want to compare with the next one. So I put here in my side, and now what we need to do, we need to delete this ID. We can go rm and delete it. No, not to do because it will not work. You cannot delete it. Either that you connect as a sudo, you cannot delete. You can set as a 0, but not delete. So first thing, let's connect as a sudo or as a root. So sudo su. They will ask my password. Test123. I just type it. Let's clear the page. And let's use this code for do it. Will be trunk /s0 to set as a 0 and the machine ID, and I put run it. So let's see if it's really working. Yes, we're gonna run the same step as before, cat, etc. machine ID and run. So I don't have any value. At the moment, this machine don't have any ID, they are not located, they are not configured yet. Next step, I needed to see if the other location of the ID it's referred for this same location. So I will do ls/l vlamp dub machine ID and run it. So now I can see that I have a L here and it's located from this option. So this machine or this ID for machine is looking for exactly the same ID, and this ID is looking exactly for the same ID, so it's exactly what that I want. If they don't work, then we'll have an next step, but so far never happened with me, so I don't need to stress. It's only a body check or a double check. Otherwise, you can set this ID in this location as a 0, exactly with the same step, and that should be 0 as well, and that it will create against of the new ID that will create when you set up your machine. So preferably we just delete or just set as a 0 all the machine ID. So let's clear the page and we go for the next step. Next step, we'll look for our SSH keys. So to do it, we're gonna ls l etc ssh and I run it. So here I have a lot of things. What I need to work is from those here, because all those that it's related from host has been created when I created this host. Why this one? Because this one is created against of your ID and against of your connection when you do it. So you already delete your ID for your machine, so the best way you need to delete those as well, and once that create a new ID, they will create a new private keys for SSH or new keys for it. To delete it, it's really simple. First we need to access this folder. To access this folder will be cd etc ssh. We can check if you are really in this folder with ls, and yes, we are here. So now we can delete it. To delete it will be simple. Now we can use rm. So rm ssh host and everything will be deleted under host. And now we do ls, and yes, I only have the important configuration, important things that I want. So I can clear it and it's done. No, it's not done because we need to create our client. What is this client? If I come here back and look, I just look online because I didn't know and I was curious about it. It means that cloud-init, it's a cloud cloud-init is the industry standard multi-distribution method for cross-platform cloud instance initialization. So they will do initialization and do some base configuration. So let's install this option. Let's minimize this one. We are here and let's install it. To install is simple, it's only apt install cloud-init and it's installed. So everything should be fine. One thing that I didn't realize before I deleted the key, and now when I start to do the video ahead, I realize it. What's the problem? If you only go there and delete the keys, but you keep the SSH or OpenSSH installed, they will not regenerate automatically the new keys. So before you go there and create your clone or your template, it's better you delete your key. To do it is simple. As a root, you go apt purge open SSH client, and that's they will ask, you want to free this 4 megabytes? Yes, I want to free it, and I put yes. And now they will delete my OpenSSH after we're gonna install it, but at this stage we need to delete in order to delete all the keys and make it work better. Now we can close it and restart. No, we cannot do it. True that we can, but we need to do it simple. To do a simple, we can only type apt clear for a clear. Oops, I can do apt clean, so they will clean all the applications that's not in use. Wonderful. Now I can stop all the applications that it's old, or all the old packagings that it's not used at all. So I can put apt auto remove, and they look for the list. In this case, they didn't remove anything, but if you have a look like different versions of programs, they will remove the oldest one and only keep it the new ones. Because if I do a template, I don't want to use 5, 10 or lots of my capacity. I want to use the minimum as possible. So it's worth to do upgrade of our system. No, because if I use this template in 5 months time, of course we'll need to upgrade. And if I upgrade now, I lose a little bit of my capacity, and I don't want to do it. And I don't want to do it. So let's power off this system. Power off. And I just power off, put open again my SSH and come in summaries. It's just closed, it's not work at all. So now what I have, I needed to do some hardware configuration. If I come here, I needed to remove these CDs. So I come here and put remove. Yes, I want to remove. Other thing that I need to do is to create this cloud ID. If I come here, add, I come here in cloud-init drive. Its ID, it's okay. Storage is exactly the same. I put create. And now if I come here in the cloud, I can do some configuration. So let's create our user or set our user. If I come here, edit, I will set as a Sauber-Lab, exactly the same user as before. Okay. So my password, we define my password, put edit, put my password. Wonderful. My host, I don't need to configure, private key only if I really want a private key, but in my case, no. And IP configuration, I don't need to do it. So I can come here and put regenerate image. So if I come here in summaries, I have everything configured. So now I could have 2 options. First option, I can come here and clone it in different ones, and therefore will be always a clone, but I needed to leave this 300 without move. Other option, I needed to do all those steps again from zero all the time that I create a new machine and that's open it. Or I can do the simple thing. I can come here and put create to template. So I want to convert it. Remember, before you convert, once that you've done it, you cannot return. So pay attention. And now I put yes. What they're gonna do, they will start to convert. If I look here, they are converting. And in a couple of seconds, they will say done, job done. So now I have my converted or my template. You already changed the simple as a template. If I look here in my summaries, I cannot run it. I don't have anymore the option to run this one. Other thing, my hardware I can modify as my need. My cloud as well. Options, the name of my system as well. And everything I can do the same way, but I cannot run this system because it's only a template. So now let's create a new template. So now let's use this template. If I come here and put clone, I will define as O2 it's okay. Name of this one will be Ubuntu 1, because it's more or less the way that I want. Link clone, now I want to do a full clone. What location? Exactly the same, but it's fine, I define it, and put clone. So now what's gonna happen? They will start to clone this image, and soon I will be able to run it. At the moment, this image, it's only setting all the configuration. Once this one finish, I can come here and play, and that I can change the name of the host or do the rest of configuration. So let's wait. Once that they appear, finish clone and the name of the image, I can start it. And now I have my clone done. I can do a lots of those clone or lots of virtual machines from this template. And in this way, each machine will have a different ID and each machine will have a different SSH key. So not have any conflict and will work quite well. So I come here, console, and I wait it to start. I will put my password, Sauber-Lab, my password again. And now I have my machine. Other thing that's interesting to remember, it's because I'm creating a different machine with a different ID and different informations, this IP address will be totally different. And now if I come here and run exactly the same step that we run before, so cat /etc/machine ID. So if I open a notepad, my previous ID was this one, and now this one's the new ID for my machine. Okay, we know that the ID is totally different. What we need to do? We need to install the SSH in order to access through the system. To do it will be simple. We're gonna run this step. apt install OpenSSH/server. Remember, you need to run it as a sudo, otherwise you not work in the way that you expect. So let's run it. They will ask, you want to install this? Yes, I want to install, so yes, enter. And now they will do the installation. Wonderful, just finished to install this OpenSSH. We can try to access it through the put, so let's try it. 192.168.1.79, and I enter it. First time that you open it, they will appear this IP address, so I can come here and put yes. So now I can access with Sauber-Lab, same password. And now if I look, they still showing as a Sauber-Lab, but the name of this machine is totally different. So let's change it to avoid that I confuse it if I don't pay attention. To change it simple, I can run as a sudo first, sudo su, put my password. I will increase the size of the letter as well for everyone can see what I'm doing. 24. I open here. So now I clear this page. So now I can come here and put nano, etc. host name, run it, and Sauber-Lab now I will want as Ubuntu. Ubuntu 1, exactly the same. Ctrl X, yes, enter. Now I need to change the host name, the same thing. Sorry, I typed wrong. You need to change the host, so it will be etc. hosts, put enter. And now it's the name of the host. I will change for Ubuntu the same way. Ubuntu 1. Ctrl X. Yes, enter. Now I can reboot the system. Reboot. When I start the system, I already have as Ubuntu 1, exactly the same name as before. So now it's only you enjoy and you can create as many system that you want. So guys, I hope that you like this video. As I told you, potentially can clone your machines if you are not using both machines in the same time. If you are using, you can have some problems. In the case that you only use a clone, it's better for you to reset it. And if you open by mistake your initial machine that you want to clone after all those configurations, they will have a new SSH key and new ID, and that you have the same problem. So to be safe, it's better to have a template, and in this way you cannot open this template, and that will be safe, that nothing will change. So if you like this video and think that was interesting, don't forget to leave your like, consider to subscribe for the channel, and see you next time. Bye.